I'm very happy to be here this morning to cut the sword for the commencement of work on the construction of the factory of DEK Vaccines Limited, a private sector-led consortium of Ghanaian pharmaceutical companies, which will help our nation realize the dream of becoming self-sufficient in the production and manufacture of vaccines. Ladies and gentlemen, it all started on 28th February 2021 in update 24 of what has come to be known as the Fellow Ghanaian series of addresses to the nation at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, when I declared to the Ghanaian people my determination to see to the manufacture of vaccines here in Ghana. The vaccine nationalism that was played out by the developed world with the rollout of COVID-19 vaccines meant that we had to take urgent, critical steps towards making sure that never again would we be victims or pawns of the international vaccine order. It was imperative that we took our destiny into our own hands. However, as has become the norm, right from my days in opposition to my becoming President of the Republic, any idea proposed, whether it is free senior high school education or one district, one factory policy, is scoffed at by those who claim they are lofty ideas which could not be implemented. The idea to manufacture our own vaccines was not spared either. In spite of these, I went ahead to establish a committee under the chairmanship of the former Minister for Environment, Science and Technology and Innovation, Professor Kwabena Frimpong-Boateng, to formulate a concrete plan of action towards domestic vaccine development and manufacturing. The plan of action culminated in the announcement of the establishment in July 2021 of the National Vaccine Institute with seed funding of $25 million United States dollars from the European Investment Bank. Indeed, some 2 months ago, on 14th February 2023, the National Vaccine Institute Bill was enacted by Parliament, for which I have given assent, and whose board of directors will soon be outdoors. Its establishment has enabled the National Vaccine Institute work in unison with ministries, departments, and agencies in Ghana to boost our country's capacity to be self-reliant in the production of vaccines and bring all of us to this gathering where work on the construction of the factory of DEKS Vaccines Limited will soon begin. Ladies and gentlemen, there's been 3 years of unprecedented levels of difficulties for all of us, especially for those of us in Africa. We're grappling with significant dips in revenues, spiraling expenditures, collapsing businesses, dwindling household incomes, with many who were once gainfully employed now rendered unemployed. Thankfully, following the introduction of vaccines, countries around the world are making systematic returns to states of near normalcy. Far from viewing the pandemic as a disaster before which we were powerless, we in Ghana embrace fully the lessons it taught us, as well as the direction to which it is pointing us. In particular, for us, it has given us a good sense of how important it is to strengthen our unity and solidarity with our fellow African countries, and has provided us with the motivation, if any was needed, to be self-reliant. Whilst appreciating the COVAX, AU, and AVAT in COVID-19 vaccine supply initiatives, we're venturing into vaccine development and manufacturing with our sister African countries of Rwanda and Senegal. And together, we're determined to become vaccine manufacturing hubs in sub-Saharan Africa. We want to achieve self-sufficiency in vaccine production to meet future national, regional, and continental needs for health security. We shall not then in the future be at the mercy of foreign vaccine nationalism and geopolitics. Ladies and gentlemen, the National Vaccine Institute will coordinate and facilitate the capacity of DEKS Vaccines Limited and other domestic pharmaceutical companies, such as Atlantic Life Sciences, a company operating under government's One District, One Factory program, which I commissioned in April 2022, to fill, finish, and package mRNA, COVID-19, and other vaccines, such as those against malaria and tuberculosis. The Institute will help forge bilateral and multilateral partnerships for vaccine deployment and manufacturing in areas of funding, clinical trials, technology transfer, human capital development, licensing, and assignments of intellectual property rights. In addition, we're committed to help upgrade the Food and Drugs Authority, FDA, our nation's principal regulatory agency, from its current maturity level 3, MLL3, to maturity level 4, ML4, to enhance its regulatory capacity for domestic vaccine development and manufacturing. In the short term of 2 years, DEKS Vaccines Limited will fill, finish, and package COVID-19 and the other vaccines I have enumerated. The FDA will also establish a vaccine lot release system and will strengthen further research and development for vaccine production. We also want to establish a technology transfer partnership with vaccine developers and provide in-house and external training program for staff. In the medium term, that is in 5 years, the target is to continue the establishment of more domestic vaccine manufacturing plants in the country to manufacture vaccines to meet WHO GMP standards, with a long-term target being to produce a candidate vaccine in 10 years using innovative technology. Ladies and gentlemen, one of the vaccines to be produced by DEKS is the malaria vaccine. As you may know, Ghana, on 28 March 2023, became the first country to grant approval for the R21 malaria vaccine, developed by Oxford University in the United Kingdom and manufactured by the Serum Institute of India, to be used in Ghana. The approval was granted following an extensive series of reviews and thorough peer reviews of the non-clinical and clinical quality parts of the vaccine product development dossier. The R21 malaria vaccine has been approved for use for the immunization of children aged 5 months to 36 months against malaria. I applaud, as do all well-meaning Ghanaians, the entrepreneurial acumen and dynamism of the members of the consortium that have come together as DEKS Vaccines Limited. In conclusion, I want to thank the German government, its agency GIS, the consortium of international partners, the European Investment Bank, which provided the €5 million grant to kickstart the project, and the European Union, which have been assisting Ghana in this endeavor. I also want to thank Professor Kwamna Frimpong-Boateng, Professor William Ampofu, Dr. Anthony Nsiasare, Dr. Anefi Asamoah-Barrow, Dr. Martha Jansa Lutrot, Dr. Bafwe Wia, Mrs. Mimi Daku, Professor Alexander Dodu, Dr. Yawe Dujamfi, Dr. Kwame Amponsan Achiano, Dr. Daniel Achel, Mr. Mustafa Teria Kumar, Mrs. Yvonne Odale Kwansa, and Mrs. Charlotte Erajwal Akuyamwa, all members of the Presidential Vaccine Committee on Vaccine Manufacturing, for the excellent work they have done so far in bringing us to this point. Today, our quest to becoming a vaccine manufacturing country begins. May God bless us all in our homeland, Ghana, and make her great and strong. I thank you for your attention.